What's up guys, this is One Time Play here. Today I'll be showing you my newest Exodia deck, Exodia deck 2.0. Now let's go over some of the cards. Now as you can see, I don't have 3 copies of the Blue Dragon Summoner and I don't have 3 copies of the Fiend Chester. However, I do have 3 copies of Pete and the Dark Clown, and I had 3 copies of the Bubonic Permit. Why is that? Because we're trying to deck out. The sooner that we can deck out, the easier it is for us to win. So here we have Winged Kuriboh, and we have the spell card that allows us to either take Kuriboh from the deck or special summon it to the field. You want to make sure you get him from your deck. If you don't have it in your hand, you never want to summon the Winged Kuriboh whenever. You never want to summon it as long as you have. If you have Pete and the Dark Clown on the field and no Bubonic Permit, you don't want to summon Winged Kuriboh. There's no point for it. You want to only summon Winged Kuriboh whenever you don't have whenever you really push back to a corner. It kind of works in the same way the Feint attack works. That's the only reason why I didn't include it into this deck. You'll see it in the gameplay, but I'm no longer using that. I decided to use different dimension capsules so that I can ensure that I get the headpiece of Exodia in my hand as soon as possible. And here we have Wall of Disruption in order to ensure that we can stall the game as long as possible, due to the fact that if your opponent summons more than 2 monsters to the field, if your opponent for whatever reason is capable of summoning 3 monsters to the field, you basically have the ability to stall, and not just that, but to actually deal a lot of damage to your opponent whenever he decides to attack Pete and the Dark Clown or Legion the Fiend Jester. Usually I put him in attack position. I usually put the Blue Dragon Summoner in attack position and Legion in defense, and just use a Wall of Disruption in order to ensure that your opponent's monsters has 0% attack. So, like I said, you won't see different dimension capsule being used in the gameplay that I'm using because I added this afterwards. I don't think the Feint attack is necessary, due to the fact that we actually kind of deck out rather quickly, and I think that I already found a better way to go about this. So I'll be uploading 3.0 soon, and so be on the lookout for that. And let's just touch on Wonder One. So you want to use this whenever you actually have Pete the Dark Clown and the Jester on the field, and you can use it on either or. But just keep in mind that whenever you use it on Pete and the Dark Clown, his effect will not work. So you just gotta keep that in mind. I'll say that you use it on Pete the Dark Clown whenever you summon the last card, the last copy. You can use the Wonder One on it, and for the rest of them, I say you just use them whenever you can. You use it on the Jester. For example, if for whatever reason you find yourself in a position where you're able to special summon a Kuriboh to the field, which you should if you don't have any monsters in your side, so that you're capable of summoning a Legion the Fiend Jester and able to pull 3 cards, not just 2, because of his effect. And you can do that with the same with the Blue Dragon Summoner, and that's kind of how you could work around this. So you can special summon a Kuriboh, or simply summon a Kuriboh while you have the Fiend Jester or a copy of the Dark Clown on the field, and just pop the one and pull cards, keep pulling cards. Just keep in mind that you immediately, as soon as you start with Pete the Dark Clown or Bubonic Permit, you immediately are gonna clear 6 cards from your deck, and that's not even counting the full summon and a Kuriboh, which potentially could give you 2 more extra cards to your hand. That would be adding 2 extra ones with different dimension caps. So that's 2, 4, that's 12. No, that's pretty much around 12. Now it's 9, 10, that's 10 cards that you'll be pretty much capable of pulling. That's not counting the extra abilities of the Jester and the Blue Dragon and Summoner. So yeah, that's pretty much that's pretty much it. Like I said, I think I have a better way to go about it. I'll give it a try and see what happens. But for now, let's just go over a few of the replays. I'll be playing 5 replays, and you probably see me comment on some of them. I'll play the best replays. We'll see. Here we're going against the top tier zombie deck. So just so you guys can see that it doesn't really matter what kind of deck you're facing, as long as your monsters are capable of popping the effect. Because I have seen what's it called, Man Eater kind of get in the way of the Bubonic summoning. And you know, the Peter the Dark Clown actually has an upper hand on Bubonic due to the fact that you can special summon the monster from your hand and or from the graveyard. So you're gonna see Red Eyes really like attack. However, it's gonna simply allow me to thin out my deck, which allows me to win, which is kind of what we want. So usually we worry about not decking out, but here is like the whole point of this deck is essentially to deck out, because that means literally we win. Because the moment we get all those cards in our hand, that's it, it's game over. So there's nothing else to it. So you gotta keep in mind. You gotta keep that in mind that when it comes down to Exodia, you just wanna pretty much deck out as soon as possible. So you could just find any other way to just do that. If you can come up with a better way, then get it done. Cause I'm thinking Exodia will become a top tier deck. Just people haven't put in the time to figure out how to work the specifics of it, and of course they're winning. That's why they made it so specific. And as you can see, like I told you, you could use a Wall of Disruption in order to really act as an offensive deck, even though it's highly defensive. But Wall of Disruption being capable of like completely taking away all the attack points to the monster can literally deal like 1500 attack damage just from their own audacity. So you don't really have to do much, which is the good thing about having 3 copies of the card. And lucky for us, it's actually in a mini box. And for those of you guys who are like, man, I don't have the crystals to empty out the box 3 times. Well, you actually kind of do, because unless you have already leveled every single character you have to level 30, then you do have a couple of thousand crystals just laying around that you could potentially take advantage of. You just gotta do it wisely. And cause that's how I do it. That's how I make sure I have a bunch of crystals. I do my best to try to level up every character I can, or the closest character I can, to level 30, just to ensure that I can get those 1,000 crystals that you get from I believe it's level 23 to 30. Here, as you can see, I'm playing against Bakura. He's trying to get rid of my Exodia piece. Luckily for him, he hasn't been capable of it, and I don't think he'll be able to pull that off. So as you can see, like I said, I already got rid of all my extra monsters, and here, as you can see, I'm risking it. I'm risking it because you gotta keep in mind that, and this was fairly simple. You gotta keep in mind that the moment you have 3 pieces in your hand and you have a Jester, you're pulling 3 cards, not just 2. So the probabilities of you actually pulling the piece that you need is very likely. So I'll suggest that as long as you have 3 pieces in your hand and one of them happen to be the head, you're very likely to win by just simply tributing the Jester with the magic one skill or effect, whatever. Here, I'll show you guys one more deck. Let me see. Let's try my Valentine. Yeah, I haven't been able to figure that way on how to deck out effectively without throwing all my pieces to the graveyard. And as you can see, this is a good hand. A good hand is actually any hand that you're able to start with double bombing. I'm gonna call him a hamster for now. Any starting hand that comes with the hamster and the clown, you good. Like, that's the best hand that you can get. Now, in order to get around the Sergeant Electro's effect, you just don't want to put anything down on the back row until you have more than one thing to put down. To basically, you just want to make him seem guess the wrong thing, because he's gonna try to pin down something, and you just want to make sure that it's not the right thing. I don't know what I did there. I don't know why I did that. But as you can see, it was useless. Here you're able to special summon a Karibu, which you should. I don't know why I did it. Oh, I see. Okay, so that's it. As you can see, I didn't have to hold back. See how to all this stuff, okay? Now, I have 4 pieces, right? And I have the head, like I said. This is usually where the Legion and Legion Fiend Jester and what's his name, Blue Dragon Summoner come in handy. And as you can see, with only 2 pieces, 1 of each, and the only reason that I'm using 1 of each is due to the fact that they have the Blue Dragon Summoner's defense is fucking low in comparison to the Fiend Jester, and I mean, his attack's not as low as the Blue Summoner's defense, but it's not bad. And as you can see, you only need 1 copy of each. Like right now, I'm about to win, and Wall of Disruption really hooks it up. Like this card is probably underrated now, but you see on the KC that everybody's gonna be using multiple copies of this. And the only way for you to get your hands on it, like I said, you gotta be effective with those crystals. That you're lucky that it's actually a mini box that we received this card in, because if it would have been one of those big boxes with like 800 plus packs, man, I only see players that are spending hundreds of dollars on this to getting those multiple copies of that, like such as Mirror Wall. No chance in hell I'm getting me 3 copies of that. So let's continue. Here, he knew that I was trying to sacrifice my monster, cause I have to. I don't know what the hell he was trying to do, and that was his mistake, but sacrificing the monster so that I could get the piece was exactly what I was going for, which he was aware of. So, as you can see, you're gonna clog the field, and you want your opponent's field to be clogged as well, and that will happen when you're able to special summon all those extra monsters on the field with the clown and the hamster. So the moment that happens, it'll be easy for you to just simply special summon. To use the Wall of Disruption in order to actually take the upper hand in the duel that you have. The only reason I added a time capsule that I mentioned in the spell card is due to the fact that sometimes you just don't get the head. It just doesn't happen. And you just want to make sure that no matter what, you kind of have something that ensures the fact that you are actually gonna get it. Here it was absolutely unnecessary for you to special summon your Karibu, so be careful with that. I could have taken the damage. Karibo should be only used on extreme circumstances. I wouldn't suggest you using them whenever you feel like it. Like for example, I've been seeing a lot of people try to use that combo, the manual combo to destroy monsters, and it's okay. And like I said, the only downfall of Bubami Burma is the fact that it's a flip effect, and not just that. And it's that you can last special summon the card if it's in your hand. So Pete the Dark Clown actually takes the upper hand when it comes down to that. Because if the hamster gets destroyed by a spell card, just as you guys just saw, the effect is not gonna pop, and that's just something that we're hoping, we're literally relying on this card so that we can do that. So when the card doesn't come through, then we're in serious trouble. And like I said, Wall of Destruction is always gonna come through as long as you have multiple copies of it. And like I said, we're lucky that it was that it came in a mini box, and as you can see, he realized that he was done. I'm sure that he was counting how many cards I had, and he could see that I was running out of cards way faster than he could actually put together, and he just surrendered, which he should, because I'm sure that he wasn't gonna win. So let's see, we got one more, and that'll be it, guys. This deck works. I was able to go from rank 1 to rank 3, and unfortunately for us, and unfortunately for me, I can't beat them order from rank 1 because I was trying different forms of this deck, and they simply didn't work until this did, and it allowed me to go 3 ranks like consecutively. And like I said, here it is. This is a good hand. You start with the so here it doesn't matter whether your opponent sees what you're doing, because even if they know what you're doing, no one is really familiar with what this card can do, so you're basically gonna take everybody by surprise. And like I said, Wall of Destruction in combination with Peter the Dark Clown is a pretty good combination due to the fact that you're able to effectively deal 1200 damage. And as you can see, I already have 2 copies of this in my hand. So you want to use the Wall of Destruction as soon as possible in order to make sure that you're able, like I said, clock your side of the field, because the moment that your opponent's side of the field gets clocked, you have the upper hand until he starts summoning tribute monsters, which for the most part, depending on what kind of deck you're using, if it's the regular basic balance deck, then you'll be using the type of deck that has at least 2 to 3 monsters that you have to tribute in order to summon. So by keeping that in mind, the chances of your opponent actually summoning something that is capable of disrupting the card, then it's very unlikely. And as you can see, we're just gonna keep drawing until I win. He doesn't seem to be capable of doing anything. That's what I'm referring to. Most people don't have too many tributing monsters, especially decks that aren't very detailed and specific, like this one. Here, I basically won. I'm getting 3 cards out of my deck, which only leaves me with 1 copy of Exodia and 5 cards left. So like I said, it doesn't matter how fast you deck out or what the opponent does, as long as your side of the field is clogged, you're basically safe, regardless of whether he's able to take your monsters or not. And as you can see, we're still able to special summon the hamster, and like I told you, those cards are super helpful, and he didn't realize that this wasn't gonna allow me to win. Even when it comes down to anything like as tricky as relinquish, you don't have to worry about anything, not even the back row, because when you attack, your effect activates and you actually win. So it's like, you don't even have to worry, like literally try not attacking too much, because that has nothing to do with the point of this deck. So you kind of just chill back, clock the deck, and you win, because this is all about you decking out, which basically takes time. So the better you are stalling the game, the more effective you are using the cards that you have, and or the cards that you have that I haven't added to this deck in order to stall this. That's all you need. So let me go over the deck one more time so that we could go over some key points to keep in mind when you're building your own deck. And that's that you don't need too many copies of the Blue Dragon or Summoner and the Justice effect, due to the fact that we're gonna thin out our deck fairly quickly using the Peter Pan Dark Clown effect. And you don't really need anything to stall the game, such as putting your monsters in defense, for example using Storm, due to the fact that if you are in a really tough position, you only need Kuriboh in order to make everything work. Like I said, if you have copies of the Flute of Summoning Kuriboh, you want to have him in your deck in order to pull him, to get him out of your deck as soon as possible. Like I told you, some of you saw that I have Feint Plan in there, which I changed for this, which I think is the most useful skill, regardless of, even though they takes 2 turns, you actually get the specific card you want, which is why they probably added it with Yu-Gi-Oh! And like I said, you essentially do need Wall of Disruptions, or as many copies of, you really do need Wall of Disruption to kind of make this deck work. Lucky for you guys, it's only a mini box. And like I said, look, all characters, just so you guys can see that this is no BS. This is exactly how I get all my crystals. And I'm gonna show you that this is no joke. Look at all these characters. All my characters are beyond level 30. All of them. Without no exception. Besides GS characters, since they were barely introduced to the game. So without an exception, all my characters are above level 30. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because look, level 28, 29 and 30, 300, that's 2, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, that's 750 crystals that you receive, not counting 150, 120 and 100 that you received 3-4 levels prior to that. So that's an equivalent to 1,000 crystals, give or take. And that's per character, literally per character. And if you actually work the character that is closest to that, and then do that again and repeat until you gather all those crystals, you should be able to empty a mini box to receive 3 copies of Wall of Disruption in no time. And you want to make sure you do that before the KC starts if you really want to have any real chance of actually ranking anywhere high enough to be anybody or to win King of Games. I really have no idea what it is that we're competing after, because I mean King of Games already exists within the game without needing a special tournament. So that's the deck. This is Exodia's deck 2.0. This is one-time play here, signing out. Until next time, guys, don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, check us out on Patreon, support us at One Time Play. Check us out, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at One Time Play. Until next time, peace.